Let's learn from the people and build a country right now. Okay. What can we learn from the Jewish people in America? Okay, well, they don't use technology on Fridays, and they don't really talk to people, so they're kind of prepared for some kind of fallout, like what's going on, because if you don't talk to people and get close to them, and and they got a virus, that's cool, and if you don't use technology on a day, you're already prepared, and they stick together, and they have their thing, and no matter what, they always fall back on that, and then also there's the black people, and they all have the common thing that there is oppression that existed in the past to a degree that it was it was violent too, and so they all have that thing, and they could always say, okay, it's why we stick together. It's all about perspective. And you can see the Mexican people, they know that they're the working part. They're like, so they're out there in the 90-degree sun, and then they'll play soccer afterward, and they push their body limits. I mean, there's no Mexican cars or pieces of technology other than certain things, but they strive. And then you take the Indians who are connected to nature and everything, and they use the land, and they have that unity and that common thing. When it's the earth, it's sacred, and we all agree upon it, and as Americans, there's so many of us here, and I just mentioned groups that like to use and stigmatize stuff, and they use it to their advantage, and we could do that as Americans, because we've all been oppressed. We've all felt like the voting sucks, because it comes from the same people, and either it's the machines are a problem, or the people that give out the machines are the problem, or the people that manage the machines, or right in the offices, the counters and stuff, they're the problem too. Which means that as a whole, it can't be trusted, and it's really sad. But we're given a perspective on all these things, but yet we don't really do too much about those things. There's no black in this drawing. I don't have to be negative. But and then we could decide that there's something that we could all share. And I'm talking about. I like to mention the police, because technically, when you outline it all, they've been outfitted with military fatigues, and then we could look at them and the government people. They vouch for each other in abundance. And how do they do that? They use paperwork to do that too. So connected to witnessing each other and paperwork, it's a total violation of USC Title 18, Section 241242. But anyway, it's like they vouch for each other, and that's where that happens. So they got a system going, and like America was founded in a tavern, and because people got together with motive, because there was an issue going on, and they started writing stuff, and they were exploring not in violent senses. They weren't all like, okay, let's leave the bar and go get our guns now. That came at a point when oppression and dictation and threats, like the threat that we better stay home, I mean, I'm not saying it's responsible to go out in times like this to the same degree we were, but, we got to show that we're aware and coherent in all this, and then we will get somewhere in life, because then, like I said, they, instead of going home and lock and loading, they were meeting at these pubs and stuff, and they were discussing and debating and coming back, and after thinking about it, they just didn't have it out right there, and it's crazy. But in all these perspectives, there's so much going on that people get lost and the details get lost, but people like me paying attention. Because sometimes we get pulled into the system, And a wise man, Washington was it, that says, if you represent yourself, you have a client for a fool. Well, as far as I'm concerned, by what other people had gone through with same circumstances, dealing with the same people, I avoided a lot of time. And lawyers wanted to give me time, and I explained stuff about that. But like there is a paperwork part, there is an armament part, you know, and there's all kind of stuff like that that we should be paying attention to within our own lives, and it's cool to have things and all, but you can't do anything if you don't protect them. And like, how do you think the ticket clinic gets rid of tickets? They don't even see you. They just take your money. A couple things go by, pieces of time. Man's dictated time, and then all the next thing you know, you don't even have any tickets no more. How's that happen? No points on your license. Why can't you do that? Oh, because you're not a bar member. And they hide that information. See, what they did is they took like everything, the whole process of everything was like a Rubik's Cube of all the colors, and then they twisted it and mixed it, right? And then they took it apart. And then they scattered it in all these little places, so it's almost impossible. And you'll go through a process of discrimination, bias, threats, intimidation, and exhaustion, economic discrimination within the system. But I was able to wither all that because I live a different kind of lifestyle, and it's not much different than everybody else's lifestyle. It's just that I choose to do something different with my time. Whether I was forced to or not, it's not the issue at this point. And we can get somewhere, folks. We can get somewhere in life. If you really try, we can make it happen. Sure we can. 2020. Hello. Anyway, red, white, and blue. It's the ability to use your willpower, your whole heart through. So, like without violence, without, thinking tactical in the sense of armament and self-defense to that level. How would you defend a nation on a battlefield of administration? There you go, folks. One more time. La-di-da.